It's what horror stories are made of. A female college student just doing her research in the dark and dimly lit stacks of the Penn State Petit Library. It was November 28th, 1969.
Betsy was doing what she was supposed to be doing, in a place where she expected privacy, where she expected safety. Where else should you be safer than in the library on the campus of the college where you live? And here, the worst possible thing happened to her.
What happened to Betsy Aardsma 4 decades ago is known. Just 15 feet away, but out of sight from other students, the 22-year-old was stabbed, just once, but fatally. Others in the library heard no scream or confrontation, just books falling.
This office ruled the death homicide by person or persons unknown.
What is not known is who killed her. 1997 Dallastown graduate Derek Sherwood has spent years researching the case.
An unsolved mystery makes you ask questions that you can't answer. And I think as people, we don't like questions that we can't answer.
He first heard of her murder as a child, and like many on State College's campus, believed it to be an urban legend to scare freshmen from the massive library. In 2008, on a whim, he Googled it. That search led to 3 years of interviews and investigating.
I guess what struck me the most was that it was pretty sad that this girl had died and that no one remembered her.
It ended with this: Who Killed Betsy? A book on the murder, and what Sherwood believes is finally an answer. He pins it on this man, Richard Hafner.
Every gemstone can be unique.
A well-respected mineral expert, known across the country, but with roots here in Lancaster. He lived on Nevin Street and worked at the North Museum. Sherwood dug through Hafner's past, citing questionable incidents with females before Aardsma's death and following the murder, a man who spent decades fighting charges of child molestation in Lancaster County courts. Hafner claimed to have briefly dated Aardsma, and Sherwood thinks he killed her in a fit of rage after she rejected an advance in the library.
And I don't think she reacted in the way that he would have liked. And I think more than likely he got upset, got mad, maybe walked away, thought about it, turned back, and did it.
But it was an interview with a professor and mentor of Hafner's that convinced Sherwood it was Hafner who did it. The professor claims on the night of the murder, Hafner showed up at his door, breathless and upset, asking if he'd seen the newspaper that a girl he had dated had been killed in Petit Library. But nothing had been reported by that point. The murder had just happened, and since Aardsma bled into her lungs, police and rescuers may not have even known she had been stabbed at that point.
So you have this guy who within a period of 40 minutes has shown up and knows not only that there was a murder, but the name of the person who was killed, and is concerned about it, obviously visibly agitated.
Sherwood's book details a conversation once overheard between Hafner and his mother at their Lancaster home. He says Hafner's mother was yelling at her son and mentioned the murder. Sherwood believes Hafner's mother lied to police, providing a fake alibi for her son. The one person Sherwood could not talk to about the case was his suspect. Hafner died in 2002. Despite his strong belief that the man who killed Betsy Aardsma got away with murder, he still wishes Hafner could have answered his questions and the courts.
So, yes, he did these bad things, but at the same time, our judicial system requires that everybody gets a fair trial. Everybody gets a chance to explain themselves.
But he hopes his explanation of her murder may help others. Too late for justice, but enough to put an end to the haunting story of the girl killed in Petit Library.
And I think hopefully that I brought some closure to people who didn't have that before, whether it's her family, whether it's other Penn Staters, whether it's my sister who went to Penn State and was afraid to go in the library by herself. Hopefully that people can say, oh, now that makes sense, or here's that answer that we've been kind of looking for all these years.